Good evening. Welcome to the Stephen Knight Show. Thank you for tuning in again tonight. We have a great show ahead of us. Tonight, we welcome a young entrepreneur and author. Her name is Gianna Price. She's only 8 years old, but she's done some amazing work already. And she's from my hometown, Richmond, Virginia. So stay tuned for that. Hot topics, we're breaking down everything everyone's talking about. And then, of course, you got our movie reviews and sports and our Black-owned business spotlight. So tune in and enjoy. Want to remind you all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our official website, thestephennightshow.com. Rather watch us go on our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show, and subscribe. We're also on TikTok, so check us out there. May is the month of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. So shout out to everyone doing big things in that community. Well done. And our merch, check out our merch. We have some new merch out there. So go on our website, check that out. All right, so how y'all doing, family? Y'all doing good?
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Exactly.
Doing all right. I feel like I haven't been here in a long time.
I know, right? I know. Well, the question of the day is, what is your favorite day of the week? Linnea, what's your favorite day?
I would have to say Sunday because that's the day that I do absolutely, positively nothing outside. The goal is to not go outside unless there's something pre-planned, but Sundays are generally my day to do nothing and just nothing.
Yeah. What about you, Chike?
I like Fridays. It's like the end of the week, and then you have to look forward to the weekend.
Yeah. I think I agree with Fridays too. I think because during the week, I get up super early every morning and I have full days. Friday is not as full, and it's the anticipation of a good weekend ahead of us. So I would say Friday too. But tweet us at home and let us know, what is your favorite day of the week? All right, well, there was another mass shooting in this country, unfortunately. 5 people were left dead after being shot in Texas home by a suspect armed with an AR-15 style rifle and horrific execution style shooting. Now, according to the latest updates, more than 200 officers from multiple law enforcement agencies, are searching for the gunman who took the lives of 5 people. These are all his neighbors, including a 9-year-old child. The shooting happened after neighbors simply asked him to stop firing his rifle outdoors. This was this past Sunday. This is what officials said Sunday. This happened Friday. Officers are now going door to door and asking community members for information to help find the killer. It was also said that authorities were even creating billboard posters in Spanish to inform everyone of the search. And they also have an $80,000 cash reward if anyone is able to help with this capture. So the incident happened 11:31 p.m. local time on Friday. Officials from San Jacinto County Sheriff's Office report a call about harassment in the town of Cleveland. When cops arrived on the scene, they found several victims shot at the home. 3 of the deceased were females and 2 were males, including the youngest, sadly, being an 8-year-old boy. 10 people were said to be inside the home when police arrived and said all victims were between the ages of 8 and 40. 1 victim is also between the ages of 14 and 16, while 3 were adults. Authorities told ABC News the 2 female victims were discovered in the bathroom lying on top of their 2 surviving children. It was also said that 3 minors were located uninjured, but were found covered in blood. They were transported to a local hospital. Police explained that the massacre occurred after neighbors, again, asked the men to stop shooting us down the front yard. My understanding, because the baby was trying to sleep, they said, my understanding is that the victims, they all came over to the fence and said, hey, could you stop shooting your gun in the yard? We have a young baby, they're trying to sleep. The man, they think he was drunk. He said, I'll do what I want in front of my yard. Sheriff said that he went on to say what he believes some victims were trying to shield children from the gunmen, which is why the bodies were found on top of the children who were unharmed. Now, police have identified the suspect as 38-year-old Francisco Oropeza. Apparently, he had been what's the word? I couldn't think of the word. When you're sent back to the company, your country.
Deported.
He'd been deported 4 times. and he was known to shoot this gun in the yard. But they said that he's 5'8". He was wearing blue jeans, black shirt, and work boots, and he has short hair. It's just the fifth person died in the hospital. That was an 8-year-old boy. He was taken to the hospital, and he was pronounced dead when he got there. Chike, here we are talking about another mass shooting in this country. And this man, he was killed his neighbors. They said it was 10 people in the home. Some were able to escape. Like one woman even helped someone escape, said because your children need their father, and she ended up getting killed. What are your thoughts on another mass shooting in this country?
Well, they're changing. The shootings are changing a little bit. So if you notice that it went from public places, mass crowds, schools, now we're on porches, we're in driveways, it's your neighbor. Do you see how it's changing? Do you see how the scope of where you can get shot is becoming more broad? You can be anywhere.
Yeah.
What can you say? There's nothing else to say. There needs to be action. I think on this subject matter, we're all talked out. Like there should be no more talking. There needs to be action.
Yeah.
And the powers that be aren't just they're not moving.
Linnea, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm stuck on he was already deported 4 times. I'm stuck on he was randomly just shooting outside. Just based off of this, it sounds as if this was a community of immigrants. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. They're all from Honduras, the people that were killed.
And I'm going to assume that they probably didn't call the cops before because they were all immigrants, and like Black people, immigrants don't like to deal with the police because some of them are illegal or some of them aren't. I would like to see how this plays out, being that it's not a white man. I would like to see how fast, because correct me if I'm wrong, did the governor say something?
He released a statement and put in there that they were all illegal immigrants in the country.
Right. I don't think that was necessary, but I know he said.
To the sheriff's credit, he said, "I don't care where they were from. These people were in my community." He was emotional. They were in my community, and this is horrible.
Right. But
Abbott,
see what your governor said.
Right. Governor
like that. Just he had to put that in there as if to make a point.
Right.
When you had, and it was the women who were covering these children that they did find, so they were killed protecting these children. I'm just trying to, you know what? I'm beyond understanding why someone needs a AK.
Yeah.
An AR-15. I'm beyond that.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, especially states like Texas and Florida, where is it Florida that just passed the open? You get however many guns you want. Yep. You don't need to be checked. No psychological, no criminal, no nothing.
Nope.
Go ahead and get you a gun and just go wild out. Knock yourself out. Bam.
Yeah.
And all these shootings that have happened, don't matter.
They're saying, well, I was watching, we're going to talk about Roy Wood Jr. I was watching his routine at the White House Correspondent Dinner, and he said, he was saying, and drag queens are not coming to your schools to influence your kids. That's not why they're there. He said, and plus, they'll all be dead anyway at the school, shot at the school. And they started booing him. He said, don't boo. Do some legislation. You know what I'm saying? Do some legislation. And at first when he said, I was like, ooh, but he was making a point.
He was trying to make a point because wasn't it, it was like some sort of Nazi situation recently.
Yeah.
Was it Ohio?
I saw that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they were out. It was a small group, but they were boycotting a drag brunch or something.
Yeah.
I'm not completely sure, but I know it had something to do with
Right.
drag. That they were just out there in their red. It's interesting. You're
Yeah.
a part of these organizations, right? Why don't you just show your face?
Mm-hmm.
There was only one dude showing his face. That was the one, I guess he was considered the leader,
Probably.
looking like a fake Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else had a mask on. They had their red and their black on. And they were standing out there just boycotting this drag brunch.
Yeah. When we talk about Roy Wood Jr., he was taking a moment to give Kamala Harris, our VP, her flowers and continue and amid continual backlash over her constitutional efforts. In fact, the comedian called out the double standards that women in power often have to endure. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday, Wood had an opportunity to share a few words with attendees. While he hilariously roasted politicians like Donald Trump and Joe Biden at the dinner, he sweetly took a moment to acknowledge people's critiques against Kamala Harris as well. The Comedy Central personality said to Kamala by calling the controversy surrounding her work efforts the most insulting scandal of the Biden administration. So I think most insulting scandal to fall to the feet of the Biden administration was placed at the feet of our Madam Vice President, the scandal of what does Kamala do? After slamming the Inquirer as disrespectful, Wood pointed out that nobody ever asked questions about vice president until a woman got the job. Amid audience cheers, Roy Wood brought former VP Mike Pence into the conversation, along with a coy reference to the January 6th attack at the Capitol. He said, "I don't know what Mike Pence did. The only thing I know about Mike Pence is that he's really good at playing hide and go seek at the Capitol." Now, Wood humorously, added, "Got to be crafty and catch Mike Pence at the Capitol, baby. He knows all the nooks and crannies." Now, it's worth to acknowledge some of Kamala Harris's accomplishments during her tenure as VP. The White House details Kamala's efforts to get America vaccinated, rebuild our economy, reduce child poverty, and pass an infrastructure law that will lift up communities that have been left behind. It's also acknowledged that Kamala has played a key role in engaging world leaders and strengthening our nation's alliances and partnerships, evidence of her recent trip to Africa in March. Of course, she also advocated for a change of the U.S. The Shade Room reported that Harris attended Tyree Nichols' funeral earlier this year and demanded that Congress pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. She said, as a United States Senator, I co-authored the Georgia Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And as VP of the United States, we demand that Congress pass the act. Joe Biden will sign it, and we should not delay, and we will not be denied. This is non-negotiable. A quick scroll through some of her VP account highlights some of her recent efforts. Last week, Harris linked up with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol to explore how they could monitor the impact of climate crisis. She also has advocated for Black parental health and the replacement of lead water pipes throughout the country, showing her involvement in various different areas. So I do see this all the time. I see this like on the Shade Room or different blogs saying they haven't seen Kamala Harris and she said, "We did it, Joe." They obviously don't watch the news or even follow her on Instagram. You know, this woman is always traveling, always out and about. She's, but she's criticized, and I think a lot of it is because she's a woman, a lot of it because she's a Black woman. Linnea, what are your thoughts on him calling her out, and giving her flowers during that presentation performance?
So of course you're not going to see what she's done on blogs because they don't go research that because they're gossip blogs.
Right.
And all they do is gossip. And what's important in the world is not important to them. They're worried about being in people's business. So that's why the blogs don't post about it. I think I had that question for when Joe Biden was in office as vice president. What Joe doing?
Right.
What he doing? What he doing? Where he going? Where he at? And not I was being a smart
Right.
ass, but you can look. I mean, you can go just like with President Obama. Everybody, no, he wasn't doing nothing. you can go on the website and see everything that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the things that the Republicans opposed that he wanted to do.
Yep.
I mean, it's on this thing called the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but people don't want to read.
Yeah.
People don't want to go look for the right information so they can be informed.
Exactly.
Because that's too much like work.
Right. Right.
Go, Kamala. Because what happens is when you move, you don't have to people don't have to know your moves. You know that you're doing them.
Right.
You know that you're the same thing with how Chike and I move. We don't be blasting everything we do on social media.
Mm-hmm.
When you find out, if and when you find out, it's on a need to know basis.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. And the president is the person at the forefront, not the vice president. Chike, what are your thoughts on this? On Roy Jones giving his flowers?
I mean, kudos to Kamala. She deserves her stars and her flowers and all her accolades. I watch a lot of political news, and part of all that thinking is primarily because she's not popular to the masses. Mm-hmm. So they do try to tuck her away and keep her hidden, as if we're going to forget about her. We're not going to forget about her, especially us. We're not going to forget about her. But there's a lot of things that are unsaid that are attached to the fact that she's in that office. Like, everyone's talking about Joe Biden's reelection, him running again. And they're saying, oh, he's too old, he's too old. It's not really about he's too old. If he had another white male vice president with him and he was running, his age wouldn't be that much of a factor. No one would say anything. Reagan was in office with Alzheimer's. They still wanted him to be president. Mm-hmm. But it's the Kamala factor. He's getting too old. The getting too old is where if something happens to him, then who will be president? A Black woman. You can't have a Black woman in that office. It's not right. Mm-hmm. Or is it right?
Well, Nikki Haley, who's running for the Republican seat, she made the comment. She was trying to go against Kamala Harris. She's saying that it's really going to be about her administration because the likelihood of Biden living through the next term. Why would you even say that?
That's horrible. That's horrible.
But isn't he and the orange agent around the same age?
4 or 5 years apart. And Biden's in shape. Biden rides his bike. You don't see Trump riding.
You see him running to the plane?
Yeah.
The other one be his wife gonna cook him. Right. He probably scared somebody gonna poison him.
He love McDonald's, Big Macs. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about AI and how it's affected music. Plus, another person's going against Beyonce, saying her music is satanic and demonic. Right back after this.